The Community Development Block Grant CDBG Program is a federal program that provides funding for housing and community development activities. Housing rehabilitation is one of the examples of CDBG-funded projects.
There is damage done to the home. The way your program works is that if we can't resolve it in the field, it does come back to the city.
Mr. Mortell, the City of Stuart Manager, is also a member of the Florida Bar. The Hamiltons notified Mr. Mortell and the building department about the violations by the CDBG contractor and requested re-inspections according to the CDBG scope of work and specifications. The building department didn't respond. Instead, Mr. Mortell proceeded to deny the city's responsibility to oversee the federally funded program in contradiction to the state and federal codes and regulations specified in the subgrant agreement with FloridaCommerce, former DEO. Mr. Mortell also wrote, "We cannot just go back and change the inspections."
In the CDBG grant arena, it's a federal program, and the City of Stuart isn't the one that gets to select or do any of the vetting process, so we actually didn't participate on that. We didn't have any RFPs or any criteria or any review authority at all.
Do we exercise any supervisory control over the contractors?
Zero. Yeah, we don't get to pick who they are. We don't get to pick who's on the list. We don't get to pick who's not on the list. We have absolutely no relationship to it at all. We don't get to prepare the form that the contractors would fill out to get on the list.
Thank you.
We just are literally the catalyst between it. Obviously, the building is done in the city, so our building inspector goes out and inspects it, but it's not related to the CDBG. If in fact there's a dispute between the homeowner and the contractor, that's a civil action that the city wouldn't have anything to do with.
But the Guardian Group, that's the manager for this grant and to help the county the city see through this, and they do this in other counties and other communities. This may have been an issue here, and we see that we've heard that other people have had problems in this particular go-round. I really appreciate the push that Mr. and Mrs. Hamilton and others are doing to make sure that this type of a job gets done properly. And it's just kind of a little bit disappointing and shocking that we've not only had one, but two or three or several this time around with this issue in Stuart.
Cutting existing building walls with no structural plans, removing structural elements. This is against Florida code. All we were asking only re-inspections based on the violations by Patriot Response Group.
But there's a program called SHPO, SHPO, which is the State Historic Preservation Office. The contractor says, look, we didn't know that he had a historic preservation restriction.
Since July 2024, the Hamiltons have been asking the city for help, searching for information on laws, codes, and regulations, trying to figure out how and why their historical building got damaged instead of being rehabilitated. Since September 2021, the city has known about the laws, codes, and regulations on the federal grant administration. Since December 1st, 2023, the city has known about the conditions on the Hamiltons' historical building rehabilitation, stated in the State Historic Preservation Office letter.
What does Patriot have over the city, or what does Patriot have over somebody, is the question. Why are they above the law, above our codes, the Florida statutes? That's a legitimate question.
The office of Brian Mast provided the Hamiltons with an update they received from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Field Office in Jacksonville. The city didn't tell Ms. Serino that the oversized replacement windows were installed in violation of the State Historic Preservation Office guidelines and the state and federal codes specified in the subgrant agreement. Instead, the city told Ms. Serino that the new windows were not installed to the Hamiltons' satisfaction. The city didn't tell Ms. Serino that the roof passed inspection being incomplete because the contractor didn't provide the CDBG scope of work to the building department. And this is how the U.S. congressmen receive misleading updates on the federally funded programs.